All right, you are Robert Isaiah Paradis. Yes, ma'am. And Mr. Paradis is on probation in cause numbers 16-24053, that one for prohibited weapon possession, 20-35328 for aggravated assault causing serious bodily injury, and 20-35329, also aggravated assault causing serious bodily injury. Was in court previously. Entered pleas of true to counts 1, 2, 3, and 6. I've received an updated pre-sentence report. Have you both had an opportunity to review that report?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I guess I want to know, with regard to community service, obviously what has he done out of any of it, if any?
Your Honor, in cause number 16-24053, he has completed 169 hours out of the originally assessed 300.
Okay.
Which leaves him with 131. He last performed community service on April 4th of this year. He worked with our work crew at the Phone office. He has not performed anything at the community service in either of the other two cause numbers.
Thank you. Mr. Kimler?
Should the community service be in all three other cases? In other words, the community service that is done in one case should transfer and be credited against community service.
Correct. It is, yes, you're correct.
So he would have 169 hours at each of the three cases.
Yes.
Great. So
yes.
And is that so, even though he was already on probation on one, and then we gave him probation on two after that?
It is typically how we do that. We typically will give them credit for community supervision on any cases they're doing for us, regardless of when they're trying supervision.
community service.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Absolutely, John.
Yeah.
How long have you supervised in this department?
So I'm a supervisor in our department. I've seen Mr. Fred is on numerous occasions for administrative hearings, case staffings, and when I held down a caseload when we've been in between officers.
Because you have some familiarity with it.
I do, yes, sir.
And during the times that you supervised as the Bradley, as you maintain proper demeanor with it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. You cool on those things?
That is correct, yes, sir.
And should he be continuing on probation, you would not be the supervising officer. That would be someone else.
That is correct. I would not be supervising him.
Well, let's say, I suppose you acted as a supervising officer at some point here. So real probation.
That is correct, yes, sir.
Assuming, let's just speak hypothetically, if you were a supervising officer again, would there be anything about Mr. Paradis that would cause concern that you do to supervising as far as his manner, the core attitude toward the probation department personnel?
Hypothetically, no, not concerning those items.
Who was his supervising officer?
His supervising officer was Alexander Ariana. This Ariana went out on maternity leave as he collected to stay home with the child. And so we've since filled that vacancy with a new officer.
But she was the one that was, I guess, directly supervising.
That is correct, yes, sir.
You got access to her records, is that right?
I do, yes, sir.
Is there any indications in there about she talking about control, easy, and that nature?
No, sir, yes, no. Not that go across.
There's nothing in the records that indicate that there's ever been any kind of mental health assessment or mental health recommendation for Mr. Paradis, particularly not for schizophrenia, anything like that, but perhaps depression.
Not that I've come across, no, sir.
That's what it's. Nothing.
Okay. So, Mr. Paredes, it shows here in this updated pre-sentence report that one of the things you told Mr. Patton was that you had been on probation since you were 18 and you just couldn't do it anymore.
Yes. Yeah.
That's true. And then you said, I'll take it, Safe P. I feel like prison's going to make me worse and blah, 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 but I feel Safe P is the best thing for you. So tell me what you're asking for and tell me why.
Well, at the time when I told him that I couldn't take probation anymore, that was one of the times where I was just feeling real down and depressed, from everything that's going on in the past, being shot and stuff like that. I was shot in my neck, in my arm. So since then, I've been having real bad PTSD, real bad depression and bipolarness. So, there's some days where I'm good, some days I'm not. Some days I wake up on the wrong part of the bed from having nightmares. And some days I'm just as happy as that can be. So from that point on, at this point, I know since being in jail now, this isn't what I want because it's just hurting my family, it hurts my daughter, and being around people that's on me, being around murderers and rapists, aggravated robbery and all that. It's just bad environment for me, and it puts me in a bad mood. It almost puts me, in a bad mindset, I guess you can say. And I did speak with the counselor. I said they assigned me for probation, and I did tell her those things, and I did recommend MHMR, but I never went just because I felt like it was I felt kind of low, I was thinking I would go to MHMR,
Stigmatized.
Yes, sir. Oh, sir. Yes, sir. So, at this point, I don't want to go to jail, the prison. Feel like being in here, sitting in here, it's helped me realize that my life is on the line and it isn't a game, it isn't a joke. And, but I need help mentally. I was prescribed Zoloft, the last time I was in here due to my PTSDs that I inherited slicky. I know I heard really bad things about it, but now I'm starting to realize maybe I should be on Zoloft just to control the urge of smoking weed and that kind of behavior.
I could ask him a few questions, Sean.
Sure. Wait,
I'm sorry.
best you can, raise your right hand. Do you swear from the testimony you're going to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
It's not.
Go ahead.
Explain those facial tattoos to the judge.
This tattoo right here is my daughter's birthday, 11/14/2017, and this is 9/16/22 is the day my cousin killed himself. He shot himself in the head. This was right after my uncle had passed of cancer, and my cousin who just passed away, his dad, my other uncle, had just passed due to cancer as well. That's why I turned myself in a week later after my water came out. This tattoo on here is a heart and a music note. I got that from my ex-girlfriend, just being done at the time.
No gang affiliation.
No gang affiliating tattoos on me.
And you did tie yourself in on the warrant.
Yes, sir. I did tie myself in.
How are you maintaining employment when you're out?
Oh, I always held a job. Even if it's working at Waterbury.
What was your last job?
Shipley's Donuts was my last job to maintain, because I got laid off. I was a carpenter for about a year and a half.
Was the LNG plant?
Yes, sir.
LNG tunnel?
Sick.
What were you out here, carpenter?
Yes, sir.
Scaffold builder?
We were doing woodwork, building decks and carports and large sits and the actions.
And as far as being shot, that actually, I know the court, and looking at his criminal history, these are serious cases as far as the aggravated assault, serious bodily injury. You were actually shot during that interchange. Is that by the other people?
Yes, sir.
And you had returned fire?
Yes, sir.
There.
That's not.
I understand you, but it's not. I know what the courts would think. I would just look at it, and I'm not trying.
My understanding from the version and the pre-sentence report previously, and
I didn't represent.
my recollection of it actually, because it's not good when I remember you. The fact that you were already on probation for a felony,
Right.
and then you came in and you admitted that you went there to shoot. You went there to go shoot Christy, which is your child's mother, right? That's not true? No? So did you mean to go shoot the two girls that got shot, Alexis and Taylor?
No, man.
Who'd you mean to shoot?
I didn't go there to shoot anybody.
I think as he explained it to me, he was going there to meet sexual purposes the two girls, and when he got there, he was set up in the parking lot, and then by other people there, people who were rotting, and in the course of that, there was a gunfight. But he wasn't going there to shoot anybody.
All right, well,
He was going there for an illegal purpose.
that goes against everything that was said and everything that he agreed to back then, because
That's correct. We were getting ready for trial on that case.
Yes.
He was the aggressor. He was the one that fired first. And had he been a better shot, Alexis and or Taylor might have been killed. But he was there to go kill Christy.
I I didn't represent him.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
He's lost.
All right, Mr. Smith, argument.
I would agree with the probation, but I believe he's only asking for safety now simply because it's the only alternative he sees to prison. I don't think he's sincere about it. We have given him chance after chance after chance, and he has squandered, wasted, and even though he's a nice guy when he shows up, he does what he wants to do. That's evidenced by the jail reports that shows that they tell him to go back to his bunk and he just gets in the shower with his jumper on. And then when they write him up about it, then he says, man, fuck you. He has zero respect for authority or doing what's right, what he's supposed to do. I think prison time is appropriate in this case. The PTSD excuse is weak. He was the aggressor in the initial contact. Then you can't claim that, well, I feel bad because I got shot by somebody who was defending two other witnesses. I would have to defend time in this.
Anything else, Mr. Himmler?
Well, it's difficult for me to address the always with these incident reports without having the opportunity to cross-examine the person and the allegations. So I would ask the court to consider the fact that that's not subject to those allegations aren't subject to the rigors of cross-examination. But I think that on Mr. Brady's behalf, struggling with depression is a serious matter. I know, and I respect Mr. Smith's looking at this as a way somebody just volitionally and just deciding to be stubborn and self-centered and not complying. But depression's a serious problem. He has struggled with that. I think that's indicated by the living being history that we have. There is no offense allegations in this. These are administrative violations. Of course, those are important, especially reporting. But because of the seriousness of these cases, I would ask the court to give him at least one more chance with the aid of mental health, maybe safety, but also as a follow-up if he gets out to follow up with spindle talk to address not only any substance abuse problems, but the underlying mental health issues that may contribute to the substance abuse and this disability is why and just to continue on probation.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Kimmler. So, Mr. Paredes, the thing is you've been given exactly what Mr. Kimmler is asking for. You've already been given that. You said it yourself. They recommended spindle top. They recommended medications. You made conscious decisions not to follow through with what they knew was best for you, which is part of your probation. Everything that they say you should do is a court order. The fact that you are on a probation from for possession of a prohibited weapon, like you said, from back when you were 18 years old, put you on a probation, 10-year deferred for that, November of 2016. Then we're back here. You're put on probation for 10 deferred on 2 aggravated assault causing serious bodily injuries in March of 2022 for shooting 2 girls. And you got shot in self-defense. And it appears that there's no real reason for me not to believe that that's how it happened for a number of reasons. No one else was charged with aggravated assault for shooting you. All the police reports, everything that went through in those pre-sentence reports previously that I have copies of, all makes it appear to be true that you went there to shoot either Christy and or whoever else. And luckily we're not a good shot. One of the girls got shot 3 times and survived it. And for you to say you have PTSD from getting shot, I can't imagine what she has. I feel like you've been given every opportunity. And when I look back on some of these times where I give chances like I gave you, it's very frustrating and a little embarrassing because it looks like I was not really thinking clearly then. I understand that these are drug allegations. You've been getting opportunities to get help. I mean, you've been on probation since 2016 with every opportunity possible. So at this time, in cause number 16-24053, I'm going to, also based on the evidence presented today, I am going to find count 5 true. So that makes you pled true to counts 1, 2, 3, and 6. I'm finding count 5 true based on that evidence in each of the cases. Find sufficient evidence in that case to find you guilty, and at this time find you guilty of possession of a prohibited weapon. sentence you to a term of 7 years in the institutional division of the Texas Department of Corrections. You will receive credit on that sentence for any time that you've been in custody that the law gives you the right to receive. In cause number 20-35329, also find counts 1, 2, 3, and 6 that you pled true to those freely and voluntarily. Find them true. Also find count 5 true. Find sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and at this time find you guilty of aggravated assault causing serious bodily injury. Sentence you to a term of 12 years in the institutional division of the Texas Department of Corrections. You will also receive credit on that sentence for any time that you've been in custody that the law gives you the right to receive. There will be an affirmative finding of a deadly weapon in that case. In cause number 20-35328, again, find that you pled true to counts 1, 2, 3, and 6 freely and voluntarily. Find those counts true. Make a finding of count 5 true. Find sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and at this time find you guilty of aggravated assault causing serious bodily injury. Sentence you to a term of 12 years in the institutional division of the Texas Department of Corrections. You will receive credit on that sentence for any time that you've been in custody that the law gives you the right to receive. There will also be an affirmative finding of a deadly weapon in that case. All 3 of these will run concurrently, which means together at the same time. I am going to hand you trial court certification. These were not agreements. You do have some rights to appeal. You can talk to Mr. Kimler about that. I need you both to sign and fill out the bottom, and you'll get a copy.